Your chain is not dying from the miles. It is dying from the 4 minutes you are not spending on it. Most riders replace their chain somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 miles and think that is just how it goes. Normal wear, part of owning a bike. But riders who actually know what they are doing, the ones who have been wrenching for decades, are pulling chains at 20,000, sometimes 25,000 miles. Same roads, same conditions, same bikes in some cases. The difference is not the chain. It is not the brand. It is one routine that takes 4 minutes, and most of you have never done it correctly. By the end of this video, you will. I have had bikes come into my shop with chains so dry, the links were visibly stiff. The owners were not neglectful people. They were washing their bikes, checking their tire pressure, doing the things they knew to do. But nobody had ever shown them this. One rider came in, convinced he had a bad batch from the manufacturer. The chain had maybe 8,000 miles on it and was already past the wear indicator. We pulled the rear sprocket and 2 of the teeth were already hooked, that shark fin shape. That means you are not just replacing the chain anymore, you are replacing the whole drive system. The chain was not defective. The 4-minute routine had never happened. Not once. Here's exactly what is going on inside that chain every time you ride, and why skipping 4 minutes turns a $50 part into a $400 problem. When people talk about a chain stretching, they picture the metal links physically elongating. That is not what is happening. Your chain has pins fixed in the outer link plates, passing through the inner links with O-ring seals trapping factory grease around each pin to inner plate interface. Every time that chain flexes around a sprocket tooth, the inner links articulate on the pin interface. Tiny movement, thousands of times per ride, and every time, with no lubrication between that pin and that inner plate, metal grinds against metal. Each pin wears slightly thinner. Each bushing wears slightly wider. The gap grows. Multiply that across 100 plus links, and suddenly your chain measures longer than it should. That is what the wear indicator is measuring. That is what chain stretch actually is. Why does this matter? Because a worn chain does not seat cleanly on your sprocket teeth anymore. The pitch has changed. Instead of load spreading across the full face of each tooth, it concentrates on the tip. That is how you get those hooked shark fin teeth, and once that happens, a new chain will not fix it. The sprocket has to go too. All of this is driven by one thing: friction from dry links. A dry chain does not wear faster in a linear way. The wear compounds. The drier it runs, the more heat it generates. The more heat, the faster the metal degrades. The faster the metal degrades, the more friction. You are not just shortening the chain's life, you are accelerating the rate at which it shortens. A chain that has never been lubricated properly does not just wear at twice the rate. It can wear many times faster. And the worse it gets, the faster that degradation accelerates. Chain manufacturers build their products to a spec that assumes a maintained drivetrain. O-ring chains, the kind on most modern bikes, have factory-sealed lubricant inside each link that keeps the pins from grinding the inner plates. But that internal lube only handles half the job. The outside of the chain, the rollers, the plates, the surfaces touching your sprocket teeth, that part needs you. Without regular cleaning and fresh lube, those surfaces run dry. The rollers drag instead of roll. Here's what compounds it: dirt. A dry chain attracts and holds road grit far better than a lubricated one. That grit works into every gap and acts as an abrasive. You have essentially coated your chain in low-grade sandpaper and run it across your sprocket teeth at speed for thousands of miles. And the sprockets suffer worse than the chain. The chain has over 100 links, so wear distributes across all of them. Your front sprocket might have from 14 to 17 teeth. Your rear sprocket might have from 38 to 50 teeth. Fewer teeth means faster relative wear, even though the chain looks like the obvious problem. Riders replace the chain, mount it on worn sprockets, and then wonder why the new chain is already loose 6 months later. The sprocket was already gone. Skip the 4-minute routine, and you do not just buy a chain early. You buy a chain, a front sprocket, and a rear sprocket. That becomes a $200 to $400 job depending on the bike. All of that is for maintenance that costs about $12 in lube and a rag. Before you put any fresh lube on, get the old lube off. Old lubricant breaks down into a thick residue that traps everything it touches. Lube over the top of that without cleaning, and you are sealing the grit in, making the abrasive problem worse, not better. Use a dedicated chain cleaner, or kerosene if you want the cheap version. Just make sure you re-lube immediately after, because kerosene is a cleaner, not a lubricant. What you do not use is petrol or aggressive chemical degreasers. These can wick past the O-ring seals or degrade the rubber, letting the factory grease escape. WD-40 is primarily a water displacer and penetrant, not a chain lubricant. It evaporates quickly and leaves almost no lasting protective film. Spray the right cleaner on, let it sit for 30 seconds, scrub with a chain brush or old toothbrush, wipe off with a clean rag. 60 seconds, and you have removed the layer that was holding every piece of road grit against your sprocket teeth. If this is the kind of thing you want to know before it costs you, subscribe. I break down maintenance, gear, and the things the dealership does not explain every single week, and I do not hold back. Most riders spray lube on the outside of the chain, the plates and the rollers, and call it done. That is not where the chain needs it. What external lube has to reach is the inner edge of the lower chain run, the inside of the loop on the slack side, targeting the rollers and inner plates directly. You get there by applying lube while the wheel is moving. Get the bike on a stand or have someone roll it slowly backwards. Apply lube to that inner edge, one small section at a time, overlapping as you go. One full revolution of the rear wheel is enough. Which lube matters too. Wet lube. For year-round or wet weather riding clings and does not wash off, but it attracts more dirt. Dry or wax-based lubes for dry climates run cleaner but need applying more often. Either way, stick to a proper chain-specific lube, like Motul, Muck Off, or Silcoline. Spend $12. Now wait, most chain lubes need 10 to 30 minutes for the carrier to fully evaporate, so always check your specific product instructions. Wipe too early and you are pulling off the lubricant before it has had a chance to do anything. After the wait, wipe the outside of the chain down with a clean rag. This is why chains fling lube all over the swing arm and rear wheel. Excess lube on the outside does not help, it just collects dirt. The lube you want is seated in the rollers and inner plates. Wipe the outside down. A light film is fine, saturation is not. Most people skip this step entirely. Do not be most people. Push the chain up from the bottom at its midpoint and measure the total movement. Free play specs vary by make and model, and street bikes typically fall between 20 and 40 millimeters. Always check your owner's manual for the exact figure. Don't guess. A chain that's too tight wears fast, loaded harder than it should be with every power pulse. A chain that's too loose will slap under deceleration, skip under hard acceleration, and in the worst case, jump the sprocket entirely, which is a crash, not just a breakdown. The check itself takes under a minute. Do it every time you lube. That's the 4-minute routine. Clean, lube the inner edge, wipe the outside, and check tension. Do this every 300 to 500 miles in normal conditions. Do it after every ride in rain or heavy contamination. A replacement chain runs $50 to $150. Riders absorb it. They tell themselves it's just maintenance. And they're right. It is. But it should be happening at 20,000 miles, not 10,000. Doubling your replacement frequency doubles your chain spend for the life of the bike. And the sprockets are where the story gets expensive. A front sprocket runs $20 to $40. A rear runs $40 to $120. Most experienced mechanics, myself included, won't put a new chain on worn sprockets. Not because we're upselling you, because a new chain on a worn sprocket conforms to the bad wear pattern. and destroys itself within a few thousand miles. I've seen riders do this twice in a row before someone explained what was happening. Both times they blamed the chain brand. Neither time was it the chain. I had a guy bring in a leader class sport bike last year. 18 months of commuting, never touched the chain. The rear sprocket was so badly hooked that when I put a straight edge across the teeth, half of them didn't make contact. New chain, new front sprocket, new rear sprocket, labor. He walked out $480 lighter. He thought he was saving money by skipping the shop. He wasn't saving money. He was borrowing it from his future self at a very high interest rate. 4 minutes every 300 to 500 miles. That's all it would have taken. A neglected chain doesn't fail silently. It warns you. Most riders just don't know what they're hearing. The first sign is feel. You get a rhythmic, tight and loose pulse in the power delivery, a subtle surging as you accelerate. That's typically a stiff link or uneven chain wear, creating a high spot, and you can feel it cycling once per wheel rotation through the foot pegs long before anything breaks. Most riders put it down to the road surface or a tire issue. It's not. It's the drivetrain telling you something is wrong. The second sign is sound, a faint click under load when you crack the throttle from low speed. That's a stiff link, a spot where pin wear has progressed to partial seizure inside the bushing. Check for it yourself in 30 seconds. With the bike on a stand, run the chain slowly backward through your hand. Every link should flex smoothly and naturally. If one doesn't, that's the one. Sometimes a drop of penetrating oil and some gentle side-to-side flex will free it. More often, if a link has seized that far, the chain is past saving. The wear indicator tells you when you've run out of adjustment. The tension check tells you how fast you're burning through it. The feel of the links under your hand tells you whether the chain is still doing its job. None of it takes more than 2 minutes. 4 minutes every 300 to 500 miles. That's the interval. That's the habit. Your chain isn't a consumable that wears out on a schedule. It's a precision component that degrades in direct proportion to how it's maintained. The lifespan built into that chain assumes you're showing up with 4 minutes every few hundred miles. Most riders won't. They'll run it dry until it skips. They replace it at half the life it was designed to give, put it on sprockets that are already past saving, and start the cycle over. You won't. You know what's happening inside the links. You know what the wear indicator is actually measuring. You know the 4 steps, the right lube, the wipe off almost nobody does, and the tension check that catches problems before they become failures. You know what a stiff link feels like before it turns into a $500 afternoon. Take care of the chain. The chain takes care of everything else. You watch this far because you care about doing it right. That's the kind of rider I make videos for. Subscribe. There is a lot more where this came from, and none of it is stuff you will find in your owner's manual.